Welcome back, Shalloners. Today, we're going to talk about the friendship fallout between Kim Kardashian and longtime BFF Larsa Pippen. What happened here? Now, I put this out on my Instagram, which you guys should go follow me, ShallonXL on Instagram, because it let you weigh in on the topics, and you suggested just so many good angles on this. The top two were what to do when a friend betrays you, because the rumor out there is that Larsa slept with either Tristan Thompson or Kanye West, both, maybe Kris Jenner in the mix, who knows? It was a whole big friendship fiasco. But something happened, something bad that made the entire Kardashian clan unfollow someone who was very much in their inner circle. So you guys want to know about a betraying friend, if you can trust someone again, and also copycat friends. And I let you guys vote on which topic you wanted, and it was almost a 50-50 split. And I was like, God damn it, do I have to do 2 videos? I'm so lazy. But then I started thinking about it, and perhaps this was fueled by my laziness. One begats the other. A copycat friend is a very, very slippery slope into someone who very likely will betray you. So we're going to talk about how all these personality dynamics can sort of come together to fuse a very unpleasant personality, what the red flags are to look for, and most importantly, what to do if this happens to you. Can you right the ship and fix this friendship? Or is it time to cut and run? We're going to get into it. But first, oh, Shallon. But before we do, like I said, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, or I let you guys weigh in on topics, give you guys some daily inspiration, and keep up with my adventures out here in Montana, my new cowgirl life. Also follow me on InfStream. It's a saucy new platform where for $2 a month, we have ad-free videos. We can talk about whatever we want. So we're doing some sexy little hookup tutorials over there. We have one on Third Base. That's BJ's. That's coming. Literally, my mom's visiting. I can't film a tutorial on that while my mom is like even in the state. So give me a few days. That'll probably be up next Tuesday. But for now, we've got some kissing and some other stuff up there. I'm also going to be doing some raw story times on there. I've kind of gone through some heartbreak here in Montana, and small town heartbreak is, fuck, man. It's not like anything else. So we're going to talk some girl talk and talk some trash. So let's talk Larsa and Kim. Now, these two go way, way back. And Larsa, if you don't know her, why would you? She was a basketball wife. Wasn't she on The Real Housewives of Miami for like a hot minute? That show was only a hot minute, so she might have been there for a hot 15 seconds. She was married to Scottie Pippen, the basketball player. And the thing I love most about Larsa is just how obvious she is. That, you know, it's like I want to love her, and I always wanted to view her as a ride or die for Kim and the family. But I went back and I watched a lot of episodes that involved Larsa, and there were a lot of red flags that she had elements of jealousy, or she was a bit of a bully and she was domineering over some of the girls. And remember, I'm sorry, I have the window open because it's just too hot to like have it shut, and the air conditioning is loud. So sorry, you have to hear just the outside world. Sorry. Do you remember when Tristan cheated on Khloe? Let's see, which time? Oh, with Jordan. And Larsa was the one talking to the press about it. And Kim even had to call her out. And this is in the show. She's like, you make us look so ridiculous. Stop trying to get shine off of Khloe's tragedy. And Larsa was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm sorry. That's a red flag. But you know, their friendship seemed to roll along. And I've talked a lot about the Kardashians, about why they keep certain people in their inner circle, namely Jonathan Cheban, who I personally, on like a human level, cannot stand. He has come for me on Twitter. He is such a fucking clown. But this is the thing with being at the level the Kardashians are at. You don't really make new friends. That's why Kylie was so umbilically connected to Jordan, why she's now so connected to Stassi. Like, there's no new influx. How can you trust new people? But then it's really difficult when you realize you can't trust old people. And that feeling of betrayal, obviously with the Kardashians, it's on such a huge scale, but it is something we have all experienced. I've told you my tale of woe with betrayal, with my best friend from high school and like most of college sleeping with my boyfriend. Like the guy I lost my virginity to, my first high school love. And this happened when they were like 25. Like, you both lived in Los Angeles. There's literally 3 million other people you could have slept with. He is not even that attractive. And it wasn't about him. It was about me. It was about tearing me down. She wanted what I had. But we're going to get to what that means in a minute. So Larsa and Kim have gone way back. And recently, like just the other day, people noticed they all unfollowed each other. No one in the family follows Larsa anymore. And this is what Us Weekly had to say about it. And it was actually my friend Emily who wrote this article. I love Emily. Because I used to work for Star Magazine, obviously, and we're sister companies. They're all owned by the same company. So, Em, I love you. But I'm gonna bet my hunch that the sources on this were the Kardashian clan and not Larsa's camp. Let's go into it. So apparently there's no bad blood. Despite unfollowing each other on social media, the pair are not feuding, a source tells Us Weekly. Here's the quote. Kim started actually unfollowing Larsa end of last year, but did so very quietly. I mean, unfollowing everyone is by nature quiet. She unfollowed everyone altogether, bringing her followers to 0 because there were a lot of random accounts and she just wanted to reset to just her family and childhood friends. Now, I think we all know that just because you know someone from childhood doesn't mean that they're your best friend now. Okay. For Kim's own mental health, she wanted to narrow down what was showing up in her feed. There's a lot of people she's friends with who she doesn't follow on social media. I would buy this if she never followed Larsa. But to follow and unfollow, sus. Major sus. And apparently there's no specific event that caused her to unfollow Larsa. There's no bad feelings. They just naturally grew apart over a period of time because life happens. They're just in a different place in their life and they're not as close as they used to be, but have no ill feelings and still stay in touch. Larsa actually visited Kim recently a few weeks ago at her home with her daughter, which Larsa shared to her social media. Further sus. If you don't care, you don't unfollow. I only unfollow like friends and boyfriends. Like if it's just some random account I followed or an acquaintance I like met on vacation, I was like, I don't need to see you in my feed. Okay, that's one thing. But if I unfollow someone who is very, very close to me, either romantically or friendship-wise, you bet your ass something happened. If you don't care about seeing them in their feed. It's not a big deal. If there was no precipitating event, it's like, oh, they're posting a bikini pic, but you could also simply mute someone, right? Mute is like the greatest thing to happen to social media. Like 90% of the people I follow, I have muted. Like I just want like animal pictures coming up in my feed and that's it. I'm so sorry if it's loud. It's literally never this loud outside. I live in the middle of nowhere. Okay, that truck finally left. Get the fuck. Oh, it was a horse trailer. Okay, there's horses in it. There were horses in the back. Anyway. Can you leave? Get off my property. Okay. So this is sus to me that like, if you don't care, if there was nothing bad, them popping up in your feed wouldn't really bother you at all. It would be absolutely no big deal. But clearly that's not the case. So you gotta wonder what happened. And Kanye added fuel to fire simply by tweeting Larsa and like something like, should I name more names? Okay, look, Kanye is not a credible source at this point. We just did a video on him and how he is in the middle of what appears to be honestly a psychotic break. So he's not spewing facts. He also mentioned Harriet Tubman. That doesn't mean Harriet Tubman slept with Tristan Thompson, although at this point I wouldn't put him past him to like build a time machine just so he could go back and fuck more people because he's fucked all the people who currently exist. There are no more people. So who knows? Who knows what happened? But clearly something did. So here's why this video is going to talk about copycats and betrayal. Because Larsa has increasingly morphed into Kim. I don't know if they're getting 2-for-1 specials, but she is the Stassi of like the Kylie clique. She is that to Kim. They have the same body. Here, you want to know how they get that body? Here's how they get that body. Fat transfers. Remember when Kim did her like famous x-rays? See, I don't have implants. I know you don't have implants, sweetheart. You have fat transfers, okay? And I feel like Kim went to like the really good doctor and Larsa went to like the Groupon doctor because her stomach, you can see the lipo marks. It's just kind of modeled and her butt is so unnaturally big. It's like she's trying to look exactly like Kim. Same face, same everything. Larsa's 46. I know that probably seems like a million years old, but if you take care of yourself and you don't go off the deep end in terms of plastic surgery, 28 can look like 38, can look like 46. Like you're the middle, like late 20s to middle 40s can look very much the same. You know how I know this? 2 words. Kristen Bell. She's like 41 or 42 and she looks like a teenager, right? Because she's just very natural. She let it happen. Larsa also seems to have like good genes. She's not just like totally white. My white sisters, we're aging like tuna sandwiches left out in the rain, okay? We didn't luck out in that department. I'm sure Larsa looked just fine before she got all this stuff done, but she looks kind of weird. And if she's happy, whatever, go for it. But her Instagram feed is just like thirst trap after thirst trap after thirst trap after thirst trap. And it's like, I get that she's divorced and she's like in a renaissance and feeling herself, but it just seems to be a lot. It's veering kind of into cold-blooded territory, you know? Do you guys want to know my favorite story about Larsa Pippen? Oh my God. I've told this in other videos. Future, the rapper, who I love, even though he is the most toxic person on planet Earth. He's like the king of the fuckboys, but I think he's so hot and I love the sound of his voice. I met him once and he's like, "You want to be my next baby mama?" I was like, yes. You know what? I honestly do. Thank you. But we were just like at a party and I like walked away. I was like, goodbye. But Future fucked her a few times. Why? Because when Future was a kid, Scottie Pippen wouldn't give him an autograph. So he nursed this grudge like a tiny plant that grew into a mighty oak and then crashed down. I was like, this is the level of pettiness and power I aspire to. 100%. So Larsa's super boy crazy. And Larsa might just be actually crazy. I mean, she seems nice, you know, but something clearly went on with this family. We have all had copycat friends, right? And you know what people say to you when you say, they copied me? Why are they doing this? You know what they say to you? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Don't come at me with that nonsense. No, it isn't. You know what's a sincere form of flattery? Flattery. I really like your top. You were so good in that spelling bee. I'm so proud of you. I will take that, not you carbon copying my life and trying to single white female me. I don't find that flattering. I find it threatening. Why? Because I know from experience where that shit can lead. Like I said, the people who have betrayed me, like my best friend from high school, she was becoming a bit of a douche. And I was not sad to let that friendship, it was tragic, but there was a certain struggle and a certain relief because she had started copycatting one of our other friends. One of our other friends had just gotten her big break in Hollywood, basically, and she had like slaved for this break. Like she really had worked for it. And literally the week she got cast in the show, my betraying best friend was like, "That's what I want to do too. I also want to be a sketch comedy writer." And we're like, you have a degree in sports broadcasting, like, which she was so good at. And we're like, why are you, what? And she tried and is still trying to carbon copy our other friend's life. And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that she betrayed me in the way that she did, because when someone is a copycat, you know what that means? They have weak self-esteem. They don't feel okay in their shell, right? Whoever they are, Hannah's not okay being Hannah. So Hannah would rather be Shallon. Oh, I don't feel comfortable being me, so I'm going to cosplay a Shallon, and therefore I'm going to imprint, and like, that's going to be the role that I play. Now, this is actually sort of good in micro doses. When we talk about how to fake confidence, this is actually exactly what we talk about. Pick a confidence idol, whether it's Kourtney Kardashian, whether it's Shallon Lester, whether it's your friend, whether it's your big sister, whatever. And you're walking into that party, you're like, I'm not walking in as like vulnerable Shallon. I'm walking in as bad bitch Kourtney Kardashian. Nothing is going to faze me. I'm unembarrassable. I take no shit. And you just need it just for a little bit to just get over that hump of like, okay, now I'm here. I feel good. I feel settled. I can like unzip my Kourtney suit and reemerge as Shallon. Or you do it for a little bit longer until those two images meld and you're like, oh no, the Kourtney and the Shallon self are now one and the same. I have borrowed that confidence enough that it now feels like my own, and I don't even need to think of Kourtney when I go anyplace. It's just me naturally now. But sometimes that can get out of control, right? That can go very left, and you can have someone who is straight up copying you. You can have someone who is Stassi babying you, where it's like, I want not only your life, I want your body, I want your face, maybe I want your husband, maybe I want your baby daddy, maybe I want your business, maybe I want it all, because I am that shaky at my core. And I think we've talked about copycat friends before, and my remedy to this is, it's tough. It is help them develop self-esteem of their own. You know, if they're the kind of friend, it's like you ask them where they want to go to dinner. Wherever you want to go, I don't care. Like, no, I want you to pick. Sushi? Great. Let's do sushi. I love that choice. Great. Help them develop autonomy on their own. Hey, let's not go out and drink tonight. I want you to stay home and work on that Etsy store. You know what? Let's not wear the same outfit. You wear what you feel comfortable in. And hey, if that's sweatpants, let's do it. Let's go to the bar and you can be in sweatpants, whatever. Help them discover who they are and reinforce that independence, that sense of autonomous self, even if it's maybe lame or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What you need to guide them towards is authenticity and self-sustainability, because then they're not going to feel like they have to zip up the Shallon suit, zip up the whoever suit. They are going to be zipped into their own suit. You got to help them become a warm-blooded animal. But that can be tiring. And it can be tough, because it's like you love someone. If this is a good friend, you love someone and you want to help them, but that can get you deeper in with someone who could potentially be very dangerous to you. Not like they're going to kill you, but did you see the movie Single White Female? That's exactly what happens. She tries to kill the person she's imitating. It's like a parasite feeding off its host. Parasites aren't very smart. Cancer is fucking stupid. It kills its host. Why would you do that? It doesn't know. It's just like, I'm going to keep on eating these cells. It just keeps on going. And parasitic friends are the same way. They infect us. They take us for everything we're worth. They hollow us out inside and they leave us for dead. And we let them. Oh, we're so flattered. But we also feel sorry for them. But we're also kind of creeped out. And we're also kind of cowardly. And we don't know how to get away from them. Like I said, you can plug in and try to do the autonomy push. You know, hey. But sometimes that doesn't work. And like I said, sometimes that gets you further down the road with someone you actually need to be separating from. I want to talk about etymology. Word root origins. Because people say like, oh, imitation's flattery. No, it's jealousy. Or is it envy? Those two words we use interchangeably, but they're not. They don't mean the same thing. And there's a reason that one of them is considered a deadly sin. By the way, are you guys so excited for Evil Week this year? I'm so fucking excited. So jealousy, this is according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Jealousy is when you worry someone will take what you have. Why is she flirting with my boyfriend? I'm a jealous girlfriend. She's going to take what I have. Envy is wanting what someone else has. Kylie doesn't deserve that car collection. I deserve it. Envy is wanting what they have and not feeling like they deserve to have it. That is crucial. And that part is fucked up because no matter what that person has, if you're the envious person, you will come up with a reason why they don't deserve it. You will invent something. You will pull that out of thin air. I'm sure that that's what Larsa has spent the last few years quietly and accidentally cultivating inside of herself. Envy. Envy towards the Kardashians. Why should Kim have all these followers? She's not as funny as I am. If you watch that episode where it's the episode where Psalm is born, so it was like I think it was season 17. It's when Kourtney and Khloe and Larsa and all these other girls go on this girls trip to Turks and Caicos. And Larsa was like telling, like, this is how you have to act, Khloe. Like, you need a gaggle of guys and blah, blah, blah. And she was just like barking orders. I'm sure she looked at Kourtney and was like, I am so much sharper than her. I have so much better advice. I am better at this. I am better than that. Why does she have this clout and I don't? And in fact, that seemed to kind of speak to what Larsa was saying about this whole scandal on Instagram. So she made, this has been like a news thing. And so she posted on her Insta, I woke up this morning blessed. Is there anything worse when people say awful? I woke up this morning blessed and see that everybody is focused on who I am following and who I am not following on social media. I am focused on my children, my new fitness brand, Larsa Pippen Fitness. How about Larsa Pippen Lipo, girl? Who in the hell are you trying to fool? And my relationships in real life, praying that everybody finds peace in their own lives and focus on what brings them happiness. Well, now that's true. That is obviously true. But she worked her brand in there. You know what I mean? And I feel like what went from copycat or admiration or like pride at your friends tipped into envy. When her and the Kardashians became friends, they weren't this global juggernaut that they are now. Kris Jenner didn't have like the power of 1,000 suns like she currently does, you know? So it was, the dynamic likely changed. The dynamic likely changed. And what started out as positive, admiration, that can tip into envy very quickly. They are the opposite ends of the exact same spectrum. Obsession, fixation. I've been through this. I got fucking blackmailed by a girl who said she was the president of my fan club. I mean, she was, but like that admiration tipped into jealousy and envy, and I am going to destroy you because you have what I don't. And I just decided you shouldn't have it. I am now the arbiter of what you deserve to have. No, sweetheart, you're not. We're just going to let the judge handle that. Anyway, the point is, when we see a friend who's a copycat, we don't always see where this is going, but it's important that we do. And if this copycat thing is a temporary thing, hey, she went through a breakup and she's kind of like koalaing onto you and like really sort of relying on your strength and your bad bitch attitude with guys to get her through, great. But if you notice this is a pathology that is getting worse and not better, and that it's punctuated with passive aggressive remarks, little barbs, oh yeah, you sure you want to wear that? You look kind of fat. This is not going someplace good. This person is going to betray you. And once that, you can't unring the bell. I am loyal above all things. I am loyal. Your enemies are my enemies. I mean that for like you guys here on the internet. You want me to cyberbully someone, I'll fucking do it. You don't need to ask me twice. I am ride or die for the people in real life who I love. I am rock solid. And if someone betrays me, you want to talk the other end of a spectrum? You are my rock solid enemy for the rest of my life. And I'm going to live a very long time. So there's no going back for me. And with my ex-best friend, she wasn't particularly sorry. She didn't apologize. I called her out on it. There was not really any sort of self-awareness about why she did this, how she's going to make things better. It was kind of just like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you're upset. You can go fuck yourself if you come at me with that kind of apology. I'm sorry you're upset. Okay. Anyway, it's fine. That's fine. But once someone betrays you, you guys were asking, can you go back? Why do you want to? Why do you want to? Friendship to me is trust. My friends are my emotional safe harbor. They are my antechamber, my airlock to get the rest of the world off of me. They're where I go with my most vulnerable moments, the self that I don't show to you guys, that I don't show to a lot of people when I'm like weak and I'm stupid and I'm crying over something that I should not be crying over, someone, you know? And they're there for me. My emotional underbelly is constantly exposed with my friends. And when they poke at that, when they do something to betray me, that armor is on and I will never take it off around that person. Because that's what I require. I require people who are my emotional safe space. I have enemies all over the place. You know, we all do. We all do. And if the enemy is inside the house, what? We have to ask ourselves two questions. How do I define friendship? How do I define enemy? I get questions from you guys all the time. I have this toxic friend and I can't trust her and she talks shit about me. And I'm like, how the fuck do you define an enemy if this is how you define a friend? Someone have to come at you with a baseball bat? Like, this is not okay. The second question we have to ask ourselves, why are we devaluing our definition of friendship? Why are we marking that price down and putting it on the clearance rack? Do you know how much more it takes to be my friend than to be my boyfriend? Boyfriend, I mean, you can like bamboozle me with how good you are in bed or how cute you are, or like kind words. I'm like, okay. If you took that away, and that's why when exes are like, I want to still be friends, I'm like, if I don't want to sleep with you anymore, you are dead in the water to me, dude. Like, you are immeasurably less value than my girlfriends. Like, they bring so much to the table, you can't even fathom what that table even looks like, let alone add to it, right? So I have such a high standard for my friends, such a high standard. And I walk it like I talk it. I demand loyalty because that's what I give. I'm elastic in a lot of other areas. I don't need you to call me every day. We can see each other every 6 months. I'm still going to count you as one of my besties. I'm still going to help you hide the bodies. But if you do something to cross me, to hurt me, to try to tear down something that I've probably worked for, whether it's a relationship with the guy, whether it's simply my self-esteem and my sense of pride in myself, whether it's you are corrosive in terms of the things you say, you're jealous and you're hateful and you're passive aggressive. I don't need that. You don't need that. And Kim Kardashian clearly doesn't need it either. But if you really, 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 really think that there's a friendship and someone who's betrayed you, that maybe it was an accident, maybe it was a drunken whatever. First, can we all just as a nation, as a peoples, beyond our nation, internationally, stop using alcohol as a get out of anything free card? You wouldn't do something drunk that you wouldn't do sober. I'm not a naked person. Like I'm not a flasher. I don't strip down and run in the pool. I'm kind of modest and I'm kind of shy. I would never do that sober. You could fill me to the brim with tequila. I will never do it drunk. I just wouldn't. If you're going to do something drunk, it's on your mind. Sober. It's a truth serum. It's a truth serum. So like Jordan hooking up with Tristan, maybe Larsa hooking up with him too. Is he that good in bed? What has he got? Now I want to sleep with him. I want to know. I don't get it. If like those girls couldn't ever blame alcohol because clearly that was in their mind in the beginning. And that's, I think, kind of what a lot of us know deep down. And by the time someone does something that's such a betrayal, if we're being honest with ourselves, there were probably some red flags. There were probably some micro betrayals. And betrayal is like lying. And which is like cockroaches. I can't believe I've been said that word. I hate saying it. I'm terrified of them. Anyway, I don't like to say it because I feel like it summons them and they can hear me. Anyway, for every one you see, there's 1,000 that you don't. For every one lie you catch someone telling, it really is the tip of the iceberg. For every one micro betrayal, a little passive aggressive comment that makes your ear perk up, that's not the only one. Behavior, more often than not, comes in patterns. It comes in a set. Very few behaviors truly are outliers. And if they are, a lot of times people will catch themselves. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But we have to get good at recognizing patterns and looking at outliers because sometimes, yeah, people just fuck up. They tell a lie. They say something bratty and they're like, I'm sorry I said that. But we have to get good at calling people out on it. If someone has a micro betrayal, you're like, why did you tell Chris that I hooked up with his roommate or like implied that? You know that I didn't. Why did you say that? Don't let shit like that slide because when you do, you teach people how to treat you. What we permit, we promote. And if somebody thinks, I can needle her in a tiny way, if they'll needle you small, they will knife you big, baby girl. But then of course we have to ask ourselves, do I want to be in a friendship where I have to teach and monitor and smack their hand and slap them on the wrist when they do something against me? What do we define friendship as? What do we define an enemy as? Don't we deserve better than this? 7 billion people in the world. Is this the only friend we're going to have? No. Is that the only boyfriend? Fuck, no. Those dudes are everywhere. We have to get good at expelling people at the first red flag, the third red flag, not the 500th. When it's not a flag, it's a giant sail painted red with the blood of innocent people, right? We got to get better at expulsion. And so I think maybe the Kardashians are really circling the wagons. You know, I think the Jordan thing and Tristan really shook them up, and I don't blame them. You know, like the enemies are so close inside that family. And certainly is that their fame and their power is just growing, and more money, more problems. Biggie was right. But like I said, if you really, really, really do want to get to the bottom of this and think that there is a salvageable friendship, call someone out, sit them down and be like, why did you do this? Because that's what I asked my ex-best friend. I was like, I want to understand why you had sex with Jack. I need to understand what motivated this. And I took a very optimistic approach. I'm like, I'm going to assume that you guys are in love, that this is a true, real connection, and that's what this is. And I'm not going to stop in the way of that. Why should 3 people be unhappy? I'm not going to assume that out of all the men in Los Angeles, you had to sleep with the one man who meant something to me, who meant more to me than anyone else on earth at that point. Because then I have to assume that that wasn't about him, that was about me. So I gave her a chance. I laid it out there exactly like that. And I got back absolute bullshit. I will always love you. Things happen. It was like they were non-answers. And I'm like, you know what? I gave you rope, and with rope, you can either pull yourself out of the waves or you can tie a noose and hang yourself. Those metaphors kind of get mixed up, but you get what I'm saying. And she did the latter. She didn't want to plug in and save this relationship. She didn't feel compelled to give me any sort of answers. She kind of gaslighted me. Gaslit. She did that a little bit. And I'm like, okay, the writing's on the wall here. I tried. I was the bigger person. I gave you a chance to plead your case in the court of Shallon, and you bungled it. So clearly this wasn't an important thing for you to salvage. Thank you for letting me know that. So see what they have to say. But beware that they might try to gaslight you. You're being crazy. The girl who blackmailed me, you know what her defense was? Shallon just didn't give me enough time to change my mind. I was only blackmailing her for a few hours, and then she betrayed me by doing a video about it. I'm like, and calling the police. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, well, I mean, yes, like that is, you know? So I'm like, okay, that's the writing on the wall. You're clearly not sorry. You clearly like don't want to salvage this. You have absolutely no self-responsibility in this situation. All right, that's fine. You're not my only friend. You're not the only chance for me to like connect with someone. Like, bye. So we got to put it out there and listen to the response. Listen to what we're actually getting. No answer is an answer. No action is action. No apology is the opposite of an apology. It's further aggression, you know? It's further gaslighting. So we have to listen with neutrality as much as we can, and not project what we want them to say and fill in those gaps because we're trying to make a fear-based decision to hold on to someone. If cutting someone off protects your peace, cut them off. It is better to be alone and at peace than to have an enemy inside the gates. Just ask Kim Kardashian. I want to know what you guys have to say about this relationship. What do you think happened? What do you think went down with these two? Or all of them? I mean, because the whole family seems to have left her out in the cold. So when they circle the wagons like that, something did go down. I want your opinion. We're going to be doing some more videos coming up. And like I said, find me over at InfoStream for some thoughtsy little tutorials. I'll see you later, Shalloners.